Hello, welcome to Politics of China. Today's topic is losing the Chinese market. U.S. chip giant again laying off employees. Recently, the media reported Intel, the largest chip company in the United States due to the decline in performance, will again lay off a large number of employees. The number of layoffs may reach thousands of people. This is in NVIDIA, AMD have been rumored after the poor performance. Another U.S. chip companies out of the adverse news. It seems that the decline of the U.S. chip began. Intel announced its second quarter results this year, showing a 22% decline in revenue, while net profit is from profit to loss. Net profit plunged 109% to a loss of $454 million due to poor performance, resulting in the company's stock price has fallen continuously. So far this year has fallen more than 60% from the high point. Recently, Intel released the 13th generation core. Due to the upgrade of the chip architecture, this year's 13th generation core processor performance has been significantly improved. The industry laughs that Intel is really squeezing the toothpaste this time. The industry was expected that Intel will be able to reverse the disadvantage in the PC processor market. However, from the news of layoffs from Intel, showing that Intel is quite pessimistic. This is not the first U.S. chip companies pessimistic about the future. A few days ago, AMD announced a three-quarter earnings forecast that revenue will fall 16.4%, leading to a sharp drop in share prices. NVIDIA announced a plunge in net profit in the second quarter. Other U.S. chips have also announced poor results, which led to the U.S. chip market value continues to shrink. Check the U.S. stock can be found AMD, NVIDIA. Intel's market capitalization has shrunk by more than 60%. Micron Technology almost cut the market value of other chip materials. Chip equipment companies have also mostly cut. The reason for the U.S. chip into such a miserable situation is the breakthrough made by the Chinese chip. Chinese chip in recent years has broken the fear of a number of chip industry efforts to promote the replacement of domestic chips, resulting in a growing surplus of U.S. chips. And Chinese chips are also accelerating the development of the U.S. chip to bring more and more pressure. In Intel and AMD's main market, PC processor market, China now has a variety of chip architecture of domestic PC processors, including ARM, RISC-V, Long Arch, etc., and domestic PC operating system has a variety of options, is expected to have 50 million PCs in the future using purely domestic PC, which led to Intel and other U.S. chip companies in the PC the decline of the industry. As for NVIDIA and AMD, which are dominant in the GPU chip market, they are also facing competition from Chinese chips. The Chinese market contributes more than a quarter of NVIDIA's revenue, and this could accelerate the upgrade of GPU chip technology in China, for which NVIDIA urgently applied for an extension, followed by a similar delay in the U.S. deadline until September 2023. In addition, Chinese chips have also made breakthroughs in storage chips, analog chips, RF chips, especially the rise of storage chips, resulting in a sharp drop in global storage chip prices. IC Insights said that only in June and July this year, the global storage chip market size shrunk by half, highlighting the cost advantages of Chinese chips. It can be seen that the U.S. approach not only cannot hinder the development of China's chip industry, but also accelerate the breakthrough of Chinese chips in more industries to break the leading edge of the U.S. chip, which led to the decline of the U.S. chip performance. So the case of Intel, the leading U.S. chip companies have shrinking performance and had to lay off a large number of employees is also reasonable. It is expected that in the future there will be more U.S. chips in trouble. The U.S. government is trying to prevent Chinese companies from obtaining advanced processor designs, chips to restrict China. Companies in the global semiconductor industry have lost huge amounts of market value as a result. Since the chip industry is global, the U.S. decision will affect the entire semiconductor supply chain. For some time now, the market capitalization of large chip companies has been decreasing. As the United States takes more restrictive measures, more semiconductor companies will suffer losses. The Philadelphia Stock Exchange Semiconductor Index hit a new low this week. The U.S. crackdown will inevitably hurt companies such as Ultraviolet Semiconductor, NVIDIA and Intel, which sell large amounts of advanced chips to China. If the U.S. government does not allow them to fulfill existing orders and continue working with their Chinese partners for a period of time, NVIDIA's quarterly revenue could be reduced by $400 million. At the same time, the U.S. government's decision will accelerate the development of high-performance GPU computing by Chinese companies like Wallen Technologies. The good news for China is that Japanese chip device companies such as Nikon, Canon, and Tokyo Electron will be affected by the U.S. crackdown and therefore may consider developing devices that do not use U.S. technology. Investors' concerns about a sharp decline in chip demand, as well as concerns about the future of the global semiconductor industry if the U.S. decides to impose tougher sanctions on China's chip industry and thus affect the future of the industry, are causing more market capitalization to evaporate. On top of that, the U.S. announced restrictions on China's access to U.S. semiconductor technology, making the risk of a U.S.-China technology war much higher, but Washington's attempts to regain the primacy of chip manufacturing and slow the rise of China face huge challenges. While the United States leads in areas such as chip-making tools and software, it is increasingly losing ground to Asian rivals in the manufacture of advanced chips critical to warplanes, drones, and cutting-edge military hardware. As the U.S. tightens its grip on advanced technology, Beijing is likely to increase its technological autonomy. Increasing U.S. export restrictions will also hurt U.S. companies that export billions of dollars of technology hardware to China, crippling their investment in research and development. Sanctions would also hurt major chip makers in Taiwan, Korea, Japan, and Europe. Export bans and restrictions will make a disillusioned China stronger. The West's attempt to block China's access to the latest technology is an attempt to weaken China's power while ensuring economic dominance over countries with opposing ideologies by maintaining technological superiority. China must find ways to respond and consider a future independent of Western supply. Sanctions will undoubtedly hurt China's economy, its military, and its ability to develop new technologies. Those desperate companies will fight for survival, so all these restrictions are likely to prompt China to become more autonomous in semiconductors and spawn an industry free from outside interference. As the U.S.-China trade war continues to heat up, semiconductor equipment major ASML ordered its U.S. employees to follow the Biden administration's latest norms and stop providing services to Chinese customers. An internal email shows that ASML has asked its employees in the U.S., including U.S. citizens, green card holders, and overseas residents, to avoid directly or indirectly providing service, shipping, or other support to Chinese customers, and that ASML is still evaluating which specific fabs may be affected by the new rules. Previously, in June, ASML said it would continue to expand its China team to support the growth of its China business, with plans to hire more than 200 employees by the end of the year. To prevent China from acquiring key technologies, the Biden administration announced new regulations last week that would strictly control the export of advanced semiconductor technology and equipment to China, and prevent China from hiring U.S. citizens to conduct advanced chip research and development without permission. According to statistics, ASML's #1 customer in 2021 is Chinese chip companies, which contributed more than $29 billion to ASML. As a global leader in semiconductor equipment, ASML must also strike a balance between China and the United States. The company has been supplying deep UV equipment to Chinese customers, but not the more advanced extreme UV machines. China's technology level has also received unprecedented development, including the development of the chip, represented by Huawei's chip research and development capabilities are already at the world's leading level, but the development of the chip is the development of the whole industry chain, which is the most core equipment for manufacturing chips, photolithography. Its components are more than 100,000, and each component represents the manufacturing of these parts of the country's first over R&D and manufacturing processes, our country's scientific and technological development, not yet fully beyond all developed countries, and all the information on the planet is limited, we are faced with killing the community of interest to break. Production of high-end photolithography dominant, the Netherlands ASMAT company has said, "Give us the drawings of high-end photolithography, we cannot be made within 10 years." This statement, although the atmosphere, but there is no lack of factual basis. Not to mention the manufacturing process of the chip, at present, even the storage of lithography workroom, we cannot be completely independent construction. The manufacture of chips on the cleanliness of the environment has unimaginable requirements, cleanliness level of 1, and sterile, clean operating room cleanliness is only 100. If you do not have a concept of this, imagine the West Lake as a large volume of pure water. If you add a handful of salt, then the cleanliness is not qualified. To meet such standards of the workshop, naturally not artificial in operation, and assembly of these workshops' air purification and filtration equipment, we are almost 100% imported. At the same time, the production of chips and other technology products are different. It does not only need the Jinshan large financial support, but also the development of the whole industry chain, the need for the collaboration of cutting-edge talent in various industries. China's Peking University, Tsinghua University, about 80% of foreign students will stay overseas to work, is the most serious brain drain in the world. It is for this reason Huawei put the focus of the project in the more national roots of Southwest University to develop, but also because of this, Southwest University was also included in the U.S. government blocked list.